Woo! Yay! Happy Saturday. Yay! Does the sound okay?
Okay, I think they're good. Because I had changed like some of the settings yesterday, so. Testing. Mic 1, 2, 3.
Sound okay?
Oh, that's loud. Okay. Happy Saturday, everyone. I know that intro is my favorite too, Mike.
It's a nice one. Really spices up the day.
We're rocking our new tank tops.
Yay!
Today.
They're so comfy. I thought it was going to be a different like type of material, like more like crunchy, but it's not.
Super soft.
It's so soft.
Super soft.
Like I have like, standards for tank tops. It fits the standards,
Yeah, the guys one will be here soon, but this is one of the ones that's on the site. Feel to heal.
Begin within.
There you go.
Whatever that means. Buddha did a great job. He hand designed the mandalas himself. Everything. A Buddha original is finally fulfilling what Mom wanted him to do for so long. His dreams of love are coming true through these shirts. They're actually really grand.
Yeah.
So, yay. I have no idea what's going on, like, news-wise. I haven't really looked this morning.
I don't know, but the Schumann was spiking today. Felt it yesterday.
Check it out.
Felt it coming in. Had, like, a massive migraine, like, all day.
Jazzy. Yeah, the Schumann's been doing some interesting things. But I really don't know what's going on in the world.
I really don't either. I think I posted some good posts yesterday, though. I have to go back. Clear and crisp screen. Nice. We like clear, crisp screens.
This article's funny. Your show is fucking terrible. Joe Rogan destroys CNN's Brian Stelter in podcast rant.
Nice. I really love Joe Rogan. I hope he's not super cabal. Because I really like him.
I know.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember when Joe Rogan hosted Fear Factor? Like, that show was lit. If you didn't watch Fear Factor, man,
I
you probably had to.
Fear Factor.
Probably. That show started popping off, and the cabal came to that show and him, and he was like, "Nah," and that's why he left the show.
Yeah,
Probably.
It didn't last. That show was not on for very long, like a few years. But he did get very famous from that show. I mean, that was like the millennial show back in the day.
I mean, it was such a bizarre show whoever came up with those ideas, like people were like eating spiders and shit. I was like, nah.
When they put him in the tank with the spiders, I'm good, bruh. I'm good.
Your mics are super hot. Don't say anything about grabbing him by the pussy.
The infamous Trump line. There's some stuff you say you don't realize the trolls will continue to use against you year after year after year.
Oh my God.
Trump learned that very quickly as he became president.
Yes.
So,
well, thanks to everyone who recently got their pyramids and sent photos. It was really fun to see everybody's pyramids. Katie's video was so cool yesterday. She did like a video like without opening it and like what she felt from the box, and it was just like that pyramid was such a match for her. It was so great.
Yeah, it was awesome. It matched her bed.
Yeah.
Her sheets.
We updated our map. I don't know if you want to hand me the map. It might be hard to see. It's a pretty big map. I got to get bigger. I ordered bigger push pins because this was like not cutting it. But
it's a big ass map.
Russia and China
Yeah,
and
maybe.
South America.
So we've got white and blue pins like all over here. The white pins are all the crystal pyramids and the blue ones are the generators. And then we have like our single South African dot. And Australia has a couple of dots holding down the fort for the planet. So hopefully eventually we get the map filled up. But
Yeah, we'll get it.
bring your pyramid to stream day on Monday.
Yay!
Yay.
Pyramid party.
Yeah. Hopefully the internet doesn't go down.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take very long after calling out Nestle for them to do something out of alignment. Mom must have known it was coming, which is why she was like, go after Nestle. And someone on my Instagram, not really friends with anymore, had posted that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Nestle, fuck you Nestle, who argued they could not be sued for funding, overseeing, and profiting from a system of child slavery in Africa because the conduct did not occur on U.S. soil. Fuck you, Nestle. Like, it's like the same thing of using like African kids to like mine for iPhones. Oh, so it's not iPhone's responsibility when you're using the product. So I don't know. Nestle, it's not looking too good. I don't know. I don't know if that's the chocolate or the water that uses the child slavery in Africa.
I feel it's the chocolate.
I'm feeling it's the chocolate, but if you do search Nestle water, they were caught in a case recently with Florida because Nestle does take water from Florida. That was like they had a spring there and their permit was up and it went to the board, a board in that area in Florida to vote against them continuing the water, and they were ruled in favor. So they could continue they renewed their permit or whatever, and they're continuing water production out of Florida, and they changed their name, actually. I don't know what they're called anymore. Something stupid. But then after they got, this whole drama in Florida with the water, they're changing their company. They won't be Nestle Water anymore. I don't know what they're going to be. But it's fucked up how many products are Nestle. A lot of I don't even know what, I know the candy and the chocolate and stuff. I just don't really know what else. I'm assuming there's like GMO foods that they make. I'm pretty sure I've seen the Nestle brands.
I feel like it's like these conglomerates, they now have a lot of like offshoot companies as well, where you don't actually know
it's Nestle.
That the company is actually run by Nestle. And I remember back in the day, there was like this huge thing about, because when veganism was like really cool, and if anyone ate Beyond Meat, the brand, I'm sure you did, I did. And then I found out that it was like owned by some big conglomerate, and I was like,
You know what was... There was this bread I always ate in 3D because it was good. It was something similar. It's called, I don't know if they had it in Florida or where it came from. It's called Dave's Bread.
Okay.
You've never heard of it. So it's like a brand and it's like all made from seeds. It was actually really good bread. And they did bagels too. And I would eat the bagels because they were like vegan, whatever, made out of all these grains, had protein in them. Like, I don't know, this guy homemade his bread, hence why Dave's Bread. Like it's all his. And then one day I saw an article when I was on mission and it was like, major bread company being bought out by so-and-so. And I go, don't tell me it's Dave's Bread. And I clicked on it and it was Dave's Bread. And I was like, fuck you, Dave's Bread, you stupid fucking sellouts. They got bought out by a big company because, they blew up. Like sometimes I went to the store and they didn't have anything from Dave's Bread. Like they were
Dave's bread was hot.
They were a hot commodity when I was in 3D like 4 years ago.
That's so funny.
And then
I was
they got
big
bought
on Ezekiel bread. I'm sure everybody
Is that the bread that you have to buy in the freezer?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
It's the bread that Mom absolutely fucking hated.
I was always scared of that bread when you would walk by the vegan section. I'm like, why does this bread have to be in the freezer? Like, why can't it just be out on display?
There was like something about the Sprout bread that like I fully didn't understand, but of course, like I was like, oh, it's so healthy. I'm like, oh, so much like retardation.
They own almost everything. I remember Dave's bread. I like Dave's bread. Dave's bread is good.
Something connected to the bread and flour price fixing in South Africa as well. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that happened was like, that's why the vegan and vegetarian stuff, when you really finally like look at it, never made any sense, because the companies that actually owned most of these vegan, vegetarian brands were like big name conglomerates that also made a ton of processed food. So it's like they didn't really give a shit about organic, healthy food. They, of course, pushed the agenda of vegan vegetarianism because it's more expensive and you can charge way more money for it.
Mhm.
And so then they just would make these offshoot brands and make all the money. So it was like the just like Tom McDonald's song, like the very thing you think you're like going against is the exact thing that you're supporting. It's just like that. It's like you think you're supporting like vegetarian brands and like organic brands, and you're not. You're ultimately just giving money right back to the same conglomerates that you are against. And
Mhm.
so the whole thing is just fucked. And they do price fix. They price fix everything. Because and that's why there's no way for them to regulate it, because if you have the same 2 or 3 big name companies who sell everything, they can fix the prices amongst themselves. There's no competition.
Mhm.
And the food source, like I know Hope was reading some of those articles recently about the food sources and the food supplies, and it's true, if one goes down, the whole food supply goes into a shortage. They've pretty much cut out all of the middleman farmers. They've cut out small farms. They've cut out medium-sized farms. It's only big farm now. Big farm and meat factories that they own. So, bread raids.
Yeah, bread rains, bread fucking rocks. Yeah, but it was just interesting because I had posted this. It's about be like 10 days on the solstice, and someone posted it, but I had shared it in one of our group chats with everybody. And things have not gotten better since this was posted, everybody. So this was from Zero Hedge a few days ago. Like I said, ranchers sell off cattle, farmers idle thousands of acres as America's drought emergency escalates. In my entire lifetime, this is the worst drought conditions that have ever been in the western half of the country. So you have Cali, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, all these Utah, Nevada, extreme heat. Oregon, like the whole West Coast, it's been extreme. I know Colorado hasn't been that bad, but I feel like there's some deserty, remote areas that have been getting hit. Other than that, it's just been like 90-ish degrees. I mean, these areas, New Mexico, Arizona, I've seen somebody that I know lives down in Arizona, and she was posting like 114 degrees.
Holy hell.
Yeah, so like I said, Colorado maybe not as much, like Nevada, Utah, but it's still like heating up. It's still hot. Just look at what is happening up in North Dakota. The vast majority of the state is either in the worst level of drought or the second worst level of drought, and ranchers are auctioning off their cattle by the thousands. Normally this time of year, we're probably looking to 400 to 600 head, and a lot of times would be every other week, said formal auctioneer. On Sunday and Monday, more than 4,200 head of cattle were sold at Rugby Livestock and Auction up in North Dakota. That's a lot. Needless to say, ranchers in North Dakota don't want to get rid of their cattle, but the drought has pushed prices for hay and corn so high that many of them have no choice. One of those, and then this guy was saying he said everybody in this situation, they're probably going to have to sell 25 to 50% of their livestock because there's nowhere to go and there's no food to feed them. As the cattle herds shrink all over the western half of the country, this is going to push the meat prices significantly higher than they are right now. And in many areas, they are already at ridiculous levels. Meanwhile, the drought continues to push the water levels in Lake Mead into the danger zone. Lake Mead will soon hit the lowest ever record. For more than 8 decades, the iconic iconic Hoover Dam has relied on water from Nevada's Lake Mead to cover up its backside, but now at age 85, it finds itself uncomfortably exposed. Much of the water in the dam is exposed, and to be holding back is gone. This is like a different world, somebody said from the Nevada Water Authority. It said it will soon hit its lowest record ever recorded. Since the year 2000, the water level in Lake Mead has declined a whopping 30 feet and is currently at its 37% capacity. The dam's hydropower output has already been reduced by about 25%, and once the water level gets low enough, it will stop producing electricity completely.
Wow.
In addition, many farmers that rely on the water from Lake Mead are facing a very uncertain future at this point. For the first time ever, the federal government is expected to declare a water shortage on the lower Colorado River this summer. That will force automatic cuts into the water supply for Nevada and Arizona starting into 2022. Bless you. Homeowners have high priority and at first won't feel the pain as badly as farmers. The water to grow corn and alfalfa fields comes from Lake Mead. If we don't have irrigation water, we can't farm, said a farmer they interviewed. So the next year we are going to get about 25% less water, which means we're going to have to follow or not plant 25% of our land. Unless something changes, the other farmers in the region could potentially have all water cut off in 2023. That's just 2 years away. Of course, there are many farmers in California that have already been informed that they will not be getting any water allocated to them at all here in 2021. It is being projected that farmers in the state will not grow anything on 500,000 acres this year, and that is really bad news because California grows more than a third of our vegetables and 2/3 of our fruit and nuts. Along with wildfire risk, the short water supply is putting immense pressure on the state's agricultural industry, which grows over a third of the country's vegetable and supplies 2/3 of the fruit and nuts in the United States. Already, farmers are cutting crops and fallowing fields in anticipation of water shortages. Karen Ross, California's Food and Agricultural Secretary, told the California Chamber of Commerce that she expected 500,000 acres would have to sit idle this year.
Oh my God.
So what are we going to do with this mega drought if it persists for several more years and agricultural production in California is dramatically reduced for an extended period of time? I'm sure some wise guy will post a comment after this article about importing more fruits and vegetables from South America, but South America is experiencing historic drought as well. In fact, at this moment, Brazil is experiencing the worst drought in nearly a century, and scientists are anticipating that it will not end soon. Needless to say, the droughts we are witnessing are setting a stage for many things that I have been warning about. In the future of agricultural production in the Western Hemisphere is looking quite bleak for a foreseeable future. In the short term, the crisis is going to result in higher prices at the grocery store. I know that grocery prices have already risen to painful levels, but the truth is that food prices will never be as low as they are right now. So I'm encouraging everyone to stock up while they can. As I've said so many times, we really struggled to feed everyone in a world during the best years, and 2021 is definitely not one of the best years. Global food supplies are getting tighter and tighter, and this is definitely has some enormous implications for our future.
Yeah, I know Dom was like sharing some things about what was going on in South Africa, and it said the CEO of Lever Brands and Tiger Brands said in an article in Time magazine that she loves her business the most because she's only in competition with herself. Basically about, that there is no competition. And yeah, about everyone sharing about the redirecting of water. We saw it in Colorado too. When we first arrived to Crestone, which was in May of 2018, they had been in the worst drought for the past like 15 to 20 years. So, I mean, that would have been also when Mom had been there many times. And then when Mom came back to Crestone that time, in July of 2018, it started to rain. It actually rained about 2 days after we arrived, but when Mom came, the monsoons began, and they were like, they didn't even know what to do with that. And then when we were living in we were still in the valley, but we weren't in Crestone, and we had a waterway in the back of our house. And it was completely overgrown with like these cabal ass shrubs or trees or whatever they are that literally just suck all the water from the ground and then they die. It's just like a parasitic type of shrub. And anyway, the owner of the home, who had been there for 20, 30 years, had said that used to be a full waterway, and you could see it down. We lived on 40 acres, so there wasn't that many people there, but the other houses also had waterways that were dry. So it used to be probably a river that flowed through there. And they said that, they years ago, they redirected the water to somewhere else. So everything was dead. Everything was dying. It's a real issue. Crestone is a valley bowl with 360 degrees with capped mountains. Where does all the water go? Cabal shrubs suck the water. Yeah. There, especially in the valley.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because as soon as it melts from the mountaintops, where is it going? It's a deep valley that we lived in. So the fact that there was no water and even the creeks were drying up is sus. Super sus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And even Mom shared her experience, because we went to Mom's original campsite 3 years ago. She took us there. Again, Mom was in way better health, just she could walk still. And we went to her campsite, and she had built it right along the river. It's not there anymore. They cut it off. She went back after her first time in Crestone, and they had cut it off. And because she had set it up, her campsite, and there was like different like circles she had made for different areas, like a meditation area, a washing area, and then they had their fire pit in another circle, kind of like, different areas. Anyway, so one of the circles led to this now overgrown area of trees, which she said used to be the river, where she would like put her clothes in right then and there, and it was flowing, and then they cut it off.
Yeah, so even the creek where we were at when we first got to Crestone was flowing, but over the years it was drying up. I haven't been there in a while, but I remember at some point in 2019 or 2020, it wasn't flowing the way it was when we first got there. And there was all these restrictions on water in Crestone. They started chaining up all the water pumps so you couldn't get water. So it's just super, super cabal. Like the waterways have definitely been a thing that, Mom's spoken about. That was probably the one and only really great piece of Hawaii was that Mom got to actually touch the water, which she hadn't been able to do in like years. So the whole screen
just
black.
glitched, and like was like a screen to send an email to who the fuck knows.
Like half the screen went,
yeah.
We're being hacked.
I mean, of course we're being hacked.
I saw that screen last night, and I was like, it looks like
someone logging into our
literally
logging into the computer. Yeah, I mean, you could hear it when we would have like calls on Telegram. Like one time I was talking to Faith, and she's like, "Do you hear that like in the background?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "That means they're tapping into the line." I was like, "Well, they're not going to hear anything." What are you tapping in for?
Super weird, but yeah. So Mom did get to touch the water, so it was an interesting moment for hi Mom. And so she was able to put so much energy, into the water, and that was when it popped. Where's that information on the water and agriculture?
I'll find you the article.
Find the article. Also, this is part of what we've been talking about with, yes, you definitely learn to grow your own food. We did have gardens in Colorado. It was challenging to grow a lot of things there because of the dryness, but the garden that we had built at the hub was actually pretty bountiful for most of the year. We had a lot of fresh lettuce. We had a lot of like fresh vegetables, kale, cabbage. So definitely growing your own food. We also would love to experiment with plasma farming. I know Booby was here visiting us, and she may be working with a farm soon. of some kind. But if any of you guys do farming yourselves, I know a lot of you garden. If you would like to do some plasma farming experimentation, we would love to have you document it and send it to us, because plasma agriculture will definitely be a thing. Also, plasma waterways. When Mom was in Cali and she was staying around Lake Tahoe, or was it Shasta Lake? It was Shasta Lake.
Which one?
On the boat. Shasta
Lake.
And she put all the plasma energy into that water and said it was the first plasma lake. Now, those will all spread out, but there is a lot that will be seen through that kind of experimentation. So if anybody wants to plasma farm, plasma garden, to experiment with, spraying plasma spray on the plants, giving them plasma water, if you have a pyramid, putting the pyramid with the plants, seeing how that affects them growing. I bet if I placed a pyramid next to my tomato plants, they would grow twice as big. Definitely. We've done some experiments. Our smaller indoor garden in Crestone, for a long time, we were spraying like silver, but also uridium, platinum, giving them different types of colloidals, and they loved it. So, it's good to experiment, because we don't know exactly what the plants will want. There's different minerals, because we don't know shit. They could love palladium. I don't know. Spray them with different ones, see how it used. I use plasma water, a few drops on an infected tree, and been monitoring. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it was interesting too, like, after Mom had been on the boat, and there's many, like, houseboat lakes in California. It's not just the one lake that Mom was at that does, like, these rentals, or people actually live on the lakes in houseboats, like, full time. And there was a lake in California that they just evacuated all of the houseboats, like a couple hundred houseboats, maybe not that many, maybe like 100 plus, I can't remember, because the water level was dropping too low. And they had to pull them out, because they're like, we need this water for drinking water. And they had to boot everybody off that was living on the lake. So it's just, it's been interesting. Of course, you're not going to see this on mainstream news, but of course you're going to see, like, the rising temperatures, the drought, but you're not going to see the implications of food inflation. Our food has gone up about 6%. That's a very large inflation jump. Just keeps going up. Many people will notice it. They interviewed somebody, they were like, I used to spend like $75 on groceries maybe last year, the year before. Now they spend about $150. So it's just like this one person on their own. So I mean, that's a big jump in money. And when everybody's struggling financially, as like the COVID stuff is like just about, like, we're getting out of it and things are opening back up, which is cool, like at least in the United States. It's just going to be a long time to bounce back. And it's just the cabal, and it's symbolic. Mom isn't going to keep producing anymore for takers. We've sucked the natural resources, Mom, dry. And what did we think or really feel was going to happen when Mother Earth left her physical vessel from her planet? Did we think it was going to get better when humanity's lack of transformation is what forced Mom into a corner of where this ascension and what she had to do? It wasn't going to be pretty for humanity and the collective. Wasn't going to be nice, and the area that's getting hit are just, are areas that Mom frequently traveled through in her final moments before she ascended. So, she made her last big trip out to California from Colorado. So she hit all those states, and now they're all experiencing severe drought. And it's just very interesting to see it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to put the correlation. You can say it's climate change. What if we're just treating the planet like shit? What if the planet's not happy with us? What if Mother Earth is saying enough is enough? Stop taking from me. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't think about, because they're so unconscious. Is like, do you think the planet's happy? with what we've been doing? Do you think Mother Earth was just going to keep giving and giving and giving? Well, she kept giving and giving. Now there's nothing left to give.
Yeah.
We've cut off the supply of natural water. We've stopped the flow of nature for our own self-importance, for our own ways of living in these highly populated areas, which no one should be living in that amount of density, surrounded by humans living in cities. It's insane. And Mom has just allowed it to continue because the planet is in 5D, always forgiving and ever loving, and it is our home and our host. But when does Mother Earth say, I have nothing else to give? I can't give anymore. And that is what we have manifested for ourselves as a collective. And that is something that's a hard pill to fucking swallow. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why is Texas's power grid failing? Why is it Texas? Why are these states? No one will ever know because they don't think Mom's God, which is fine. But like, enough is enough from this planet. Like, people still don't care. They just think that Mom, the planet, is just going to be giving us this shit forever.
Yeah.
Acting like nothing's wrong. It's been wrong. They've just been covering up. Now it's reached such a big point where they can't hide it anymore. The water levels have been dropping, in Lake Mead for a long time, which supplies water for a lot of areas, a lot of California, Nevada, Oregon. The Colorado River ain't doing so hot. Where does the Colorado River lead? I don't know, through Colorado. So it's going through Colorado. It's like all these places, nobody thinks about it until it's too late.
Well, everyone wants to blame climate change,
right?
This, that, and the other thing. I was thinking it as right before Faith commented it, that if you would stop focusing on dumbass shit like climate change and actually look at how you can give back to the earth, if everybody's perspective just made a slight switch of how can we give back to the earth, the whole energy would change. Everything would flourish again. Waterways would flow again. It's just that there's no perspective on they're trying to manage these surface level bullshit things that don't make any sense. They're obsessed with recycling. Recycle. McDonald's now gives you paper straws. I'm confused because plastic straws can still be recycled. So if people aren't recycling plastic straws, what makes you think they're going to recycle paper straws? And to be honest, I would rather have a plastic straw because that could come from recycled plastic, whereas your paper straw is likely coming from another tree. So what is the fucking point? What's the point we're trying to make here? Paper straws. What does that even mean? Just means you're using more fucking paper. Everyone's obsessed with recycling. Mom never really cared about recycling, to be honest with you. She was like, yeah, if you can recycle, of course. But it wasn't what's going to save the planet. It wasn't that wasn't the answer to saving Mother Earth. It was having respect for the land. It was stop building skyscrapers on land. Stop taking all the fresh water. Stop stealing all the resources. Stop spraying fucking pesticides on Mom's soil. The Constitution was written on hemp, just saying, I agree. Hemp is one of the most underrated and underutilized resources that we have. I did my entire law school brief on hemp. And how of all the ways hemp could be used, the ways it could be reused, and how it would essentially cut down on all the other problems that we had. And I remember my professor literally asked me, so are you trying to tell me that marijuana plants will save the world? And I said, yes, I am.
Yeah, man.
And I got an A+. So, why are we underutilizing these things? Because of the stigma of marijuana, where most people still don't even understand that CBD is different from regular THC weed. People don't understand that hemp is not the same as THC. Everybody's so fucking scared of marijuana, a plant that grows in the ground, that we can't even utilize its benefits because everybody's just so like butthurt about THC. Get over it. A+ for hemp and New Earth. Totally. It's just so many things that we could have done differently, and even ourselves, like we definitely, if anyone has ideas, about, what are ways that we can individually give back, to the earth. I know people like Penny and Taryn are both really big on water ceremonies and things like that, which is awesome. Any ways that we can like give back to the earth, because it's not something that I often think about, but it is something that I feel we would have a very powerful effect on if we started doing things that would be beneficial to flipping that energy. It's the white people control craze, recycles. Yeah, exactly. And I was just, the angels were like, look up, Shasta Lake news. And they said the water, like you were saying, the water got so low in Shasta Lake that it's actually started exposing remnants of a head tower that was built in the 1940s. It was a structure used originally as part of the original Shasta Dam, which hasn't been exposed in like 50 years because that's how low the water levels are.
That's probably what Gab hit.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So like very interesting. And that mom was,
when was
that
there. Article?
That was like
a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, all the lakes. It is hot. It is hot as balls on the West Coast. It may not be like 114 like Arizona seeing, but they're used to that shit. That's still fucking hot. California's been extremely hot, dry. They're going into their infamous wildfire season. It starts typically around August, but it's been beginning sooner in July. Utah, the wildfires are already out of control. Utah, Nevada, bad already. They can't keep up. It's been bad. Like, I've never heard of North Dakota having a drought before and having to sell their cattle. Like, that's, but it's like all of these areas, it's just crazy. 102 in San Fran, it's very hot. I couldn't even imagine living in a fucking city.
Damn.
And yeah, California is going down the fucking tubes, and everybody glorified California for years, and it has turned into a fucking shithole. I literally follow this guy on TikTok who monitors the decline of Venice Beach.
Oh.
It is disgusting.
So sad.
Venice Beach is garbage, and it went up. It just got so bad during COVID because they evicted so many people, and then they passed COVID laws that allowed people to stay on the beaches. Oh my God, if anyone's in the area, fuck that shit. The homeless people are just like so out of control. And
wow, someone said 118 here yesterday with raging fires.
Where are you? Oh, Sari's in
you in
she's in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
She's in Arizona. She's near she's near Sedona, I feel.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so I can imagine, it's hot as fucking balls in Arizona.
Yeah, but it's just as Mom always said, it's a reflection of the consciousness.
They got to burn it out.
They got to burn it out because it's so dense that only fire can cleanse that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Get your sage out.
There's an app to monitor human shit in San Fran. Yeah, we've been seeing that.
Oh yeah, it's just, and then they have laws now. I saw it yesterday in like San Diego or San Fran. Either way, they're just turning into garbage. They have passed laws where you pretty much can get a slap on the wrist if you shoplift. So of course, there's many videos, we've seen it since the pandemic, where people walk into Walgreens, they'll just take a shelf, knock it into a bag, walk out the door. They won't do anything. You actually will get more in trouble if you fight them than they do for stealing. So there's been about like almost probably like 19 to 20 Walgreens that have just shut down in those like San Diego or San Fran, whichever one it was, because they can't keep up with the shoplifting. And it's all just Democratic run, like fucking slaps on the wrist, like nothing. And
damn, Faye said it's been 103.
Yeah, it's interesting that Yeah.
Holy
Some parts of
hell.
Colorado have not been that hot.
What
but
incarnation?
it's gonna be.
I don't even think Florida is that hot right now.
No fucking way. It's all the West. I'm telling you.
Miami's chilling at 83 degrees.
I mean, it's hot. I mean, the weather for Colorado these next like few weeks is like straight 90s.
Wow.
So plus, if you're in the mountains, if you have humidity, it's over 100. I mean, 90 without humidity is like without not including being sometimes 8,000 feet up in the fucking Rockies. Gets fucking hot as balls. Texas is absolutely toasted right now. Their power grid is on the verge of failing. It's like I made some jokes about it with Joe, but we actually aren't joking. I'm pretty sure she's in Texas too, and she's a tough cookie, same as Daniela. They're fucking, you gotta be a tough breed to be down in Texas right now. Holy shit. They're like, yeah, their power grid ain't doing so hot. They're fucking hot as balls. They were telling everybody, this person was like, they set the rules in Texas, and it was like, turn your AC down to like 85 degrees when you go to bed. This guy's like, you think I'm sleeping in 85 degrees? You're fucking smoking crack, bro.
Oh, no.
Like, he was like, what do you mean turn it down to 85 degrees? That's how hot it is. It's like, Texas Power is a joke. Free market, huh? Texas Power, I don't know. They've been putting out signs like of a potential hacking of like the fucking grids.
To the plasma grids, man.
They can't keep up, bro. One toaster oven in Oklahoma, the whole grid could go down in Texas. You don't fucking know. It's getting out of control. One toaster too many, one bagel too many. You can see the whole Texas grid go down. Damn. It's cooking up in here.
Well, this is the beginning of the failure of the systems. One way or the other. They're going to fail.
Yep. And what did Mike Adams say? They hacked meat. They hacked gas. They hacked the airlines. They hacked, what was the other one? They hacked the airlines. The weather system, National Weather System was down last week. They hacked the cloud that all of these big news and Amazon outlets, news outlets had all shared this one cloud of information that went down. You can see it. Okay, well, what's next? Water or power? And that's what Mike Adams was warning about.
Both
at the same time.
Both, so that everyone realizes how dumb it is that in places like, I know in Florida specifically, it is actually illegal to collect rainwater. I don't know how many other states have that law, but it is illegal to collect rainwater. Basically, they don't want you to get water from any other source but them. So if you put a bucket outside and you're collecting rainwater, you could be arrested. And that's how democracy works these days.
Communism.
Yeah. I actually just found this really cool channeling, though. It's a bit long, but it's quite interesting. It's from Ashtar. And I'm glad that Cobra said the other day, like, everyone relax. Ashtar is not dark. We don't need to panic about Ashtar, so just, hold your horses. So it was channeled by, I don't even know if I can see the name, Años Terapias, sounds Spanish. So they said, there's nothing to worry about as all weapons have been destroyed. So now we will start a new phase, which is the surface release phase. So this is kind of going along with what we've been speaking about. This phase has started a long time ago. We haven't been standing around waiting for the inner processes to finish before we came to the surface, but many actions have already been taken on the surface. And the great thinking minds and the greatest representatives of those who have dominated you are still around on the planet. The process of taking them out of power is not an easy or simple process because it's like a cartoon. We take them out and you put them back together. Interesting. He said, so many of what you see today are no longer even the real ones. They are clones of those who once played the role. So ending this whole big farce is the big goal now. End the lies, end the control, so we can effectively begin the ascension process. but not the ascension itself of you migrating into the fifth dimension. There is still a lot to be done, and there will be many changes on your planet for the event to actually occur. The light comes stronger and stronger, and with it changes. So as we've been asking here together is, are you prepared? Today you cry out all the time that the world is in chaos. You don't know what chaos is. You have no idea what will happen. But at no time do we say that here for there to be panic or despair. We just want you not to be taken by surprise. You have come a long way, and even those who are arriving younger already have the necessary understanding for what's to come. I can tell you that each of you will undergo profound tests so that you will effectively recognize yourself as aspirants to the fifth dimension. No judgment, no anger, no going to incite others against this one or that one, because you will only be increasing the chaos. Get away from it all. It's like you've entered a time capsule with everything that you need. And however much you listen to the noises, the comments, the screams, the despairs, the doubts of the attacks on the outside, you will not feel any of this. Because we hope that you have already learned not to suffer the suffering of others, and understand that everyone is reaping the fruit of their own decisions, their own walk of life, the choices of their soul, their resistance to seeing that there is something beyond the horizon. Many may want to continue to believe that the world is just what they know, and they don't want to expand their visions, because for them it is comfortable and safe. When they are forced to look beyond and simply discover that they could have taken a step further a long time ago and didn't, the revolt will be great. They will realize they lost part of their lives, believing in lies, believing in interests, and not in truth. Being a light worker, a star seed, no matter what label you want to put on yourself, I prefer to call everyone aspirants to the fifth dimension, for you are all in training day by day with severe lessons, hard exercises, but you are walking, passing from obstacle to obstacle. Many can't take it, and they ask to stop because the exercises are too intense. We respect, but we only advise you not to rest for too long, because it is exactly like a soldier that when you practice continuous exercises, your muscles, your cells become strong and powerful. If you stop and then continue, your cells also stop. And all of that mechanism of action, courage, fight will fall asleep. And the new journey, it will be a little more difficult until you pick up the pace again. You can rest for a short time so that your cells continue in that rhythm of victory, of searching for truth, whether it is hard or not. Many of you think it's cute to say you're a light worker. So I'll tell you next. When you say that, the universe puts you on that path of a light worker. So if you don't want to follow this path, you think it's too heavy, then please affirm that you are not a light worker. And all of that will be taken away from you. Do not affirm yourself a light worker just to fill your ego. You must accept the consequences of your affirmation. We are not playing here. Each of you who call yourself a light worker is given the mission to be a pillar of light and to keep the planet's energy grounded. But for that, you have to be clean and fully involved with the entire process. So don't play with anything serious. If you don't want to follow the walk because it's too difficult, brutal, or painful, ask to leave. Affirm that you are not a light worker, and the training will be stopped. Now that road to the fifth dimension, you will no longer take it. You will take another road that will also lead to the fifth dimension, but it will be a road of those who come later, a much more difficult road, more demanding, not in training, but in change in attitude and tasks. Make the choice you want. We don't force anyone to do anything, but we assume that you all want to go to the fifth dimension. So there is an alternative. Whoever thinks that they don't want to be on the road or on the other, you must affirm you don't want to go to the fifth dimension. There your life will continue exactly as it always has, and you will be taken off the road, and you will continue to be prepared to leave the planet. Realize that everything is a choice. We do not force anyone to do anything. Make the choice you want. There are 3 alternatives. There is no more, just these 3. You choose one to follow, because going forward more than ever, all the training you've been undergoing will automatically trigger you into action. And don't see it as taking up arms or fighting physically. The training is to stay balanced without getting involved with the environment, having a totally open heart for whatever and whoever arrives. What training do you want to participate in? We don't oblige any of you to do anything. But now a decision must be made. Stick with the training because it will intensify more every day. Many people think, oh, you talk about training and I don't feel it or see anything. That is exactly how it's planned. All of you are being trained, but as a secret of war, you don't remember anything. All of you each night are deeply trained. Interesting. Some remember. There are flashes that they are somewhere battling something. Others don't remember anything. So I assure you that all of you are being trained daily and at night by the masters. At the right time, you will remember all of the training. It would be unproductive for you to be trained for so long and at a certain time not remember. But then at the right time, you will remember and you'll be able to put into practice everything you've learned. Then you will have motion. Those who have the warrior soul are impatient because their souls want to start the battle. And once again, I repeat, no one here is talking about physical battle nor battling against the dark beings. The battle is in the heart. It is with the feelings. The battle is against everything that will come against you. And it will be the big test where you will show that you are ready or not for the fifth dimension. So you didn't want to participate. Be ready because you're going to participate anyway. So once again, I say, anyone who thinks you are not ready, affirm that. Very well, you will be taken to another road, which no longer easy as it is, but you won't have as much responsibility. These are the choices. So ask to say with whoever wants to be in the third dimension. These are the choices. You must affirm for each higher self, for each of you, what you want and what you are. This needs to be stated from the heart. So just affirm to the higher self the choice that you are making. The choice cannot be made tomorrow, next month, or next year. It needs to be done today. There is no more time to wait. So make the choice. Tell the higher self what you are and what you want. It's very simple. Again, a statement is made and it will be fulfilled at all costs. Soldiers who enlist on their own volition hardly give up. They remain in the army till the end because I guarantee that despite all the hardship and all the difficulties and all that you will go through, in the end, it will be worth it. Because the feeling of accomplishment with your own soul and for so many other souls who will be guided by you will be immense. It will be without size, infinite gratitude for a job well done, and most importantly, pure unconditional love. We are waiting. Make your choices. It's not tomorrow, it's today. Tell the higher self what you want as the troops are now being formed. The battle of unconditional love against any other negative feeling has already started, but it needs many, many more soldiers to make it happen on planet Earth.
Woo!
Well, okay.
I'm ready.
Interesting channeling that definitely came up today. Faith ambassador training, anyone? Mom's team, the first contact ground crew team, is literally the front line, the highest level of spiritual awareness on Earth. Yes, that's true. And I know I feel that popped up to read because, it's that message from Mom of like, it's now. Oh, shit.
Okay, Mom, settle down.
The whole screen went again. As soon as I said that. Mom is on it today. She agrees. It's now.
I'm so shook because while you were reading that, I was just like scrolling through my Facebook. I'm not going to do it anymore because I just saw this bitch. She pierced her third eye. What the fuck is that?
No.
What is that?
Don't do that. See, that's like, part
I'm
of like
shook.
a confirm, like people are making their choices. Yes, Andres, I'll put it on the site after the stream. But that's what it is. Like Mom, as soon as I said it's now, Mom fucking did whatever she does with the screen again because it is now. Like,
I mean,
everybody's got to make the choice. You can't be half in, half out anymore, dibble dabbling in the ascension process. Mom's whole point and her whole point has been is that either way, the divine plan is going to unfold. However, there needs to be a certain amount of beings who are committed to the process. Yes, of course, she can do it with however many we have. But it also will take longer, and it'll also mean a disproportionate amount of work for those who are doing the work, which isn't necessarily fair, but it's not about being fair. It's what we signed up for. Same thing as mom. Mom took it all on because nobody else would. Was that fair? No, but it was just the way it is. So the less people that are actually committed to doing the work and actually 100% committed to the process, it creates a disproportionate amount of work for those of us that are. It's not fair, but it is what it is. So, but the more people that, come say it out loud today, that's what the channeling is basically challenging everybody to do. Say it out loud. I affirm, because they're saying there's too many people calling themselves light workers, but what are they doing? They're not doing anything. They're not doing the work. They're not taking the leaps of faith. They're not passing the lessons. They're staying in the comfort zone. They're not out there, on the front lines of this ascension process, taking the hits. They're hiding in their house, posting messages, and that's all they do, sipping lattes.
They just want to be comfortable. They don't want to speak up. No. And then they want to roast everybody that does. And it's like, it's what mom had to deal with, and it's the same thing we have to deal with. Everyone's like, oh my God, they have such potty mouths. Who the fuck cares?
Potty mouth.
Who the fuck gives a shit? Because you'll never get me to shut up. I think my family realized that probably around the age of 12 to 13.
I've tried.
You're just not going to get me to shut up. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to surrender, because it's like, why would we conform to what everybody else is doing? I had a lovely being, know him very well, told me that I was not walking in the path of the light. Okay. He's talking to himself. It's okay. I know him very well. Let me just reheart you that. He's definitely not walking in the path of the light. So it was a projection. And he was like, what else did he say? He was like, there are no free rides. You don't say. You don't fucking say, buddy. You don't say. What are you doing? There's no free rides. Where? Because you're taking fucking trips to Disney World? I see your ass. What do you mean free rides? Yeah, of course there's no free rides. What are you doing, bitch? And so he was like, the divine's patience is running thin.
That was a channel talking to him damn
he's talking to him damn self. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Amy Carlson's patience is running thin.
Yeah.
Mother God's patience is running thin. I was like, what? And I was like, okay. So I called you out on judgment. And what'd you do? You judged more. Oh my God. I was like, no way. Okay, I see the programming. I get it. Judgment. I understand why he is the way he is. I'm going to let it rest. And all I said was, okay, thank you. Love you.
Okay, thank you.
I said, okay, thank you. Love you. I didn't even get a love you back. Who's walking in the path of the light? Can't even say I love you. I was like, what the fuck? This can't be real. This can't be real.
Mom is well. She sends her regards. Thank Fabricio.
I bet she does.
We know.
If she wants to come back, just let us know when she's planning to come back so we can, set up a bed or something. Let us know so we can set up a divine, nice space for her when she returns. Let us know how she's doing.
But absolutely, we're going to, everybody has to make the choice. Like Hope said, we can't shut up at this point. We just have to keep going and keep literally just doing what we always did. However mom trained us to do. Half the shit we say on here, we don't even remember, to be honest with you. But it gets to someone somewhere. Like something may trigger you. It may resonate with you. It's all for the highest, whichever way it goes, But we're just going to keep sharing and speaking the truth, no matter what it looks like to anybody or how many people, there's trust me, there's plenty of people who do not like us and do not think that we are serving mom and do not think that we are in alignment. Fucking great. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you think. And it honestly doesn't even matter like what we say. Like what we say could be, sure, we say shit all the time that's fucking out of alignment, I'm sure. But, it's our role to play it out and also to share that we make mistakes. Like we're never going to come on and tell you like that we are like, oh my God, we are so grand. Like, we're not going to say that. We're going to come on and make mistakes and say shit that may not be the highest, but at least we do it on camera so that everybody can see it, so that you're not alone. You're not, you're not alone out there in the fact that we're going to keep making what you would call mistakes, but it's not. It's just to show everybody that we're all in the same boat. We're all going through the same lessons. And all it takes is really correction. It's just about correction. You can't learn unless you do something, and then you can see it and correct it. That's the whole process of evolution. And the screen just flickered again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about getting it right. It's not about getting it perfect. It's not about trying to put on the front that you are somehow perfect. It's not. And I had to learn that lesson hard because I'm a deep perfectionist. And everything I did or said, I would analyze, was that right? Was that not right? Was that correct? Was that not correct? Until I finally realized that none of it mattered. It doesn't matter, actually. Because if you're in the heart, it doesn't really matter what you say. It really doesn't. Or it doesn't matter what choices. Yes, the choices matter. But it matters that you're in the heart making those choices. Because even if you make a choice that ultimately maybe you feel wasn't the highest, it obviously was. It was perfect in that moment as your level of consciousness so that you could reflect on that choice.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing that's going to be coming up is just everybody's judgments. Like, that's all it was, like, my experience and what happened is just everybody's judgmental. You have to do it this way. You have to look a certain way. You have to present yourself a certain way. Who says who? Are you the gatekeeper to New Earth? No. I don't really care what you think is right and wrong because everything that we've been told is wrong.
Right.
The way that we've handled life in society, who the fuck has gone anywhere in life by being a fucking softie? Can you stop eating kids? No. What the fuck did Jesus do? She flipped motherfucking tables and was like, fuck all you bitches. Like, that is, like, nobody gets anywhere by being weak and being like, oh, can you light and love? And enabling everybody in there. It's fine. They're on their own paths. Paths to where? Destruction? More vaccines? Like, where are we going with society, and let alone who are we to tell anybody what they can and cannot be? Do whatever the fuck you want. Say whatever the fuck you want. If anybody wants to tell you should or shouldn't do something, they don't love you unconditionally. They love you within the conditions of the box that you were fitting in. And who wants to do that? Who wants to be in the box called the suicide cult of society? Not me. And I know most of you out there don't want to be that way. So it's like, we can't ever Mom was never stifled.
No.
She never let anyone stifle who she is, stuff it down, make her feel less than who she is. She told those people to fuck off.
Yeah.
And she had no problem being herself, saying what she felt, speaking the truth, because it takes a lot of balls to do it. And we're not going to do it in a way that the egos want, which is just love and light and all the nice stuff. No, we've been fucking assholes on this planet. We fucked up. We've made mistakes, and we need to take accountability. We can't just stuff it down with love and light and just act like it didn't happen or just let it go.
And then there's moments for not that.
There's times and moments for everything.
Right.
But if you're not expressing yourself and you're not sharing, most people are struggling with that, is realizing like that you need to speak things in order to heal them. Even if, being told, people will, half the time when people express themselves, we'll have people even connected to us be like, oh, it's ego what you're saying. And you know what, you're right. It is ego a lot of times how we feel when we're processing. But most people transform by speaking it out loud, and then they can let it go. When they realize they're not crazy for how they feel, that others feel the same. We get the same thoughts. Our biggest critic is ourselves. We beat ourselves up more than other people view us. I mean, yes, in 3D you have way worse judgments, but usually we're our biggest self-critics when you're awake. You always are. You don't feel you're doing enough. You don't feel you're catching up energetically to where other people are at. You're struggling. You're this, you're that. Everybody's on a different path back to mom. Everybody's taking on different things at different times. So just to speak it, write it down. If you have to talk to somebody, if you have to record yourself and just delete the message after you spoke it, when you hear your voice, when you talk to somebody and they're able to be like, you're not crazy. You know, we're all going through these thoughts and these different things we're transforming, then you realize you're not alone. Everyone's taking on a unique piece of this puzzle, but it doesn't mean you have to sit in it and feel like you're alone. You can embrace who you are. Nobody should shut you down and not want you to express your, you know, who you are and what you're feeling and take that away from you. Your feelings matter, your thoughts matter, who you are matters, and if anybody tries to take any of those things away from you, they can fuck off, because it's not their place to judge or control somebody of who they want you to be. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's a big difference between judgment and discernment. You know, it's like judging someone is basically saying something about them or what they're doing is wrong. You know, wrong versus right, good versus bad. That's a judgment. It's placing a label on something. However, that's not the same as discernment, because I feel a lot of people get confused. Like, oh, I can't call this person out because maybe I'm judging them. No. Discernment levels come from experience. If you know that there's a certain energetic and it's very clear, then you speak on it. You call it out, you say it. But without the energetic behind it of judgment, of being like, what you're doing is bad. It's not bad or good, but there's, mom never said, oh, what you did was bad. No, but she still called it like she saw it. Right action, wrong action. Aligned, not aligned. It's that simple. There just doesn't have to be a judgment energy behind it of judging someone, but you still have to discern what's an aligned energy and what's not. And just because we allow everybody their own path doesn't mean you have to align yourself with that path. It doesn't mean you have to align yourself with that person or that group of people or that friend or that family member. You're not judging them. You're simply saying that energy not aligned with me. I am not aligned with that energy. This is what the energetic is. And then you move along. The problem is when anyone is in denial about themselves, if we're in denial about any part of ourselves and lack of acceptance about ourselves, including the lower parts of ourselves, if we can't accept that they're there and we're in denial that they exist, that is what perpetuates this Lucifer experiment. That's what perpetuates darkness. It's denial of oneself in any capacity. So that's why the love and light thing doesn't work, because it creates a deep denial of things that are there. Now you have to be able to accept yourself, even the lower parts, without judging yourself. Same thing as you have to accept the other person fully of where they're at and who and what energetics they're holding. It doesn't mean you enable it. I feel like there's maybe some confusion around all of this, because I feel we, in fact, ourselves were confused about it. I can accept that somebody else is in the place that they're at and they're not embodying, they're not embodying their higher self. They have their lower parts of them still there. I can accept that about them without judging them and also without enabling them. That's what mom always did. She accepted each and every person for exactly who they were. She accepted the parts of them that they themselves didn't want to accept. And she loved them anyways, but she didn't enable them either. So it starts with yourself. You have to accept all parts of yourself. Any part you're in denial about, it's going to perpetuate it more. Denial, denial, denial. is what will ultimately keep us from moving forward in any way. And once you get past the denial and you get to the acceptance part, then you have to transform any judgment of yourself. And that ultimately clears it. That ultimately will clear those deepest parts, those darkest parts of yourself, because it's just waiting for you to accept it. Stop pushing it away. Stop being in denial of it. Stop bypassing it, because there's nothing to feel bad about. There's nothing to feel bad about. We all are literally in a fucking darkness experiment. What is there to be sorry about? It's just accepting it. And then that's in and of itself will start to transform it. So that was just some like epiphanies that we had. I hope that, help some people. I know we're past time. We'll wrap up. I wanted to just show the last pyramids quickly before we end. These will be going out on Monday. We're super excited about these. Yay. So these will go out on Monday to the next beings. Oh, can you plug the computer in? It's about to die.
Yeah.
Thank you. This one is a nice jazzy. We did like multicolored bottoms for these. This one. Ooh.
Nice.
Orange and blue. I love that color. And then we've got the bubblegum pyramid. I like this bottom too. And then my favorite, because I made it, is the rainbow ball pyramid. Yay. And then did the rainbow bottom. So those will go out Monday for the next round. If anybody hasn't got a pyramid, if you would like to get one, if you need a payment plan, let us know. We're catching up with these last orders so we can work on the next round. And yeah, so those will go out Monday. And yeah, if anybody also is going to get a crystal pyramid, please do, so we can spread those out too. And bring your pyramid to stream day Monday. And someone will be back at 4 p.m.
We love you guys.
Oh, for the ambassadors, I'll be doing the astrology ambassador training at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we will see you guys then. And we love you.
We love you guys. We'll see you at 6 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning. 5, 6, 7, 8. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Love has won and joy reigns. Na 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 na. Joy. Na 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 na. Joy reigns. Hey, hey, hey. Love